First, I'd like to thank Paula to organize this track. I'm glad to be here to share some of my thoughts on Greywater and Brackish water. After hearing all these talks about the blue water, green water, and gray water, and black water, especially yesterday from plenary session, I was confused. Does water has color? Does? No, right? We colored it. When we take the blue water, we say, well, basically it's clean water, then we add the stuff into it. I guess gray water is something that we can't really go through, but see through, but see a little bit inside. Not like black water, you can't see through. So I guess here definition gray water is something wastewater from the household, something you can see a little bit through, not all the way. This might be easy to remember. Otherwise, it's very hard to say. Now, add to the confusion, add another one, brackish water. What is brackish water? It's between fresh water and saline water. So basically, in Texas, brackish water was defined salinity or TDS between 1,000 to 10,000. Sometimes we lower it to 3,000 milligram per liter. That's what we're talking about, gray water and brackish water. I'd like to thank my colleague, Grisha. He was working on this project, and we also have other students and colleagues working on this project. Well, water conservation, we have talked about a lot, and waste disposal or wastewater disposal is increasing challenges in Texas. Because of urbanization, population grows, water demand continue to increase. At the same time, irrigation, we want to maintain. We already heard, Kansas want to continue pumping. In response to your question about Texas, we are targeting 50% storage in 50 years. So groundwater conservation district need to maintain the groundwater storage after 50 years pumping from now on. Certainly farmers have different views, and the district has set up rules in order to achieve this goal. What happens? We don't know within 50 years, but it's the same thing as after 50 years, you almost deplete the aquifer. I think we are in the same direction, try to preserve fresh water. Can we use the degraded water or wastewater for irrigation? Some early study do have concerns in terms of damage to the soil and reduction in the crop yield. So our study is to try to evaluate impacts of gray water and the brackish water irrigation on cotton production and the soil salinity. So that's why we can decide whether it's doable or not. Or can we also look into utilize the organic mulch to kind of conditioning, hopefully it help the performance of the irrigation and also prevent aggregate instability. So location is in far west Texas. It's in the desert, in the Chihuahua Desert, and it was interesting. We working with the prison. It's a state prison. They want to have certain kind of self-support. That's why they are very interested in using gray water for irrigation for their garden too. In fact, parallel to this project, I have vegetable application. Basically, look at different vegetables if they can grow. It does grow very well. They They try to use it, and we say, no, it's against state law. You can't really use it. It was very, very good fruit. We have tomatoes. I can talk about, in other session. But this one focused on cotton production. And so soil is a loam sand underlain by shallow caliche. This one behaves like confined layers. Certainly El Paso area is not a big issue in terms of groundwater contamination because it's 300 feet below land surface. But with this caliche layer, some of the contaminants might be blocked to further infiltrate downward. So we have 4 blocks, basically. Let's see if it works. Okay, on the left side, you can see that's the well water, these 2 blocks. And then we have laundry water on the right side. And we also applied the mulch. That's one without mulch, then with mulch. We also split the blocks, so that's why we have more sampling to look at both cotton growth and also the soil conditions and cotton yield. So laundry water, called Greywater here, about 11 loads of laundry washing per day at present. So we estimate how much they may have. The total is about 3,500 gallons of Greywater is available. And right now, remaining Greywater basically discharged into the city wastewater. So then city need to treat it, eventually discharge to the river. Now, if we can use it, then certainly reduce the load to the central system. And Brackish water, it's one well adjacent to prison property. Block was irrigated twice a week. It's about 250 gallons or 500 gallons per lot. And between the irrigation season, a total 33 inches laundry water or well water were applied to the plots. El Paso usually has less rainfall, less than 10 inches. Fortunately or unfortunately, to the experiment, this year we have 18.4 inches. This year, flooded El Paso. El Paso was flooded 2006. So it's kind of distorted the experiment results at the end of the experiment, but front, we still have a very good data set. I hope we have more precipitation all the time, but that year it was really interesting. And penny operation is very high, 100 inches per year. Over the irrigation season, about 70 inches. Cutting, basically it's a Delta pine. It's for West Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico area. And we manually planted it. It was very interesting. It reminds me of my childhood. I was planting in the field. We also monitor soil moisture, so that's where you can see the distribution of the moisture. And we collect soil samples to look at salinity issues and the buildup at different time steps. And also at the end, we look at the different depths to see whether there's a salinity buildup. We also monitor plant heights, and Texas borewell irrigation program help us to set up the traps, so that's why we don't have this borewell issues. And we also measure the seed cotton and length in comparison to different water Here's the results, shows the water quality. And look at laundry water. It's not so bad. EC is 1.5, almost fresh water, close to fresh water. Think about it, even though we add this stuff, make it a gray, it's almost close to the blue water. But look at the brackish water. It's a little bit sealing, not so much if you time 0.64. So it does have salt in that. And look at the SAR. This one really distorted, even though salinity is not so high, but SAR. It has sodium. Okay, 5 minutes. So soil moisture, we monitored, used the sensors. It's less than 20%, and effect zone was dry most time, and except during the rainy season. Mulch does help retain high moisture, and surface soil moisture was also slightly variable among different blocks because of soil itself. We kind of replaced some of the soils there. Soil moisture changes from census at 18 inches depth, so that's what we monitored, the variation between different blocks. SAR, we do see changes in the soil, and it was reduced from 10 to 2 by heavy rainfall. That's what I said. It's not good for experiment. You want, consistent to the normal conditions. Mulching increased with the laundry water by 40%, but for well water, but decrease the SAR at 30%. And also it changes with depths. EC, it's higher at the beginning of the season, and in general, soil is moderate alkaline, and salt does accumulate at the surface. Okay, that shows the distribution of, left side shows the SAR distribution with time. You can see the rainfall does change the patterns, and the top one is the laundry water, then bottom one is well water. That's EC. You can see overall kind of reduced at the end of season. And this one shows that distribution with the depths, that's SAR and the EC. And that's one little bit increase, not much. Okay, cotton growth. Soil conditioning does improve the growth rate of cotton. You will see the picture. A little skip to the picture. So this one, you can see the cotton height. The top one is the laundry water, and the bottom one is the well water, and left without mulch, and this one with the mulch. In general, mulch does help to improve the growth of the cotton. And certain seed cottons and the length yield also shows the changes. The length turned out almost same, about 42% for both water, but laundry water irrigation produced 77% more seed cotton. That's a good water compared to brackish water. The year after we did compare laundry water with the fresh water, but this one only shows brackish water versus laundry water. 70% more length in comparison to brackish water. With the soil conditioning, laundry water produced 65% more length versus without mulch. Same thing, brackish water waste mulch tend to grow higher, produce more. So in conclusion, cotton irrigated with laundry water tend to grow higher and produce more lint. With mulch conditioning, cotton grow almost at the same rate regardless irrigation. Brackish water could be used more efficient with conditioning. And alter the distribution of the salinity, acidity, as shown in the picture. Unfortunately, it was rainfall. We do have some disturbance of the rainfall to the results. But in general, salt still accumulate at the soil surface. So we need to look into long-term impacts, what kind of impacts to the soil. But the results is positive. Laundry water can be used for irrigation of cotton. And the brackish water, under certain condition, it can also be used for agriculture production. Well, I'd like to thank Cotton Corporate USDA for the support, and also certainly our agency and Texas State President. Here I mentioned Naomi Asidim. She really spearheaded this project. Unfortunately, she left. Then I took over the project and working with Gracia. Well, thank you all. Any questions?